I'm sure you must have heard that in order to be successful, consistency is a critical part of the pie. This is true, but the truth is, many people struggle with being consistent. If you've been thinking about how to go from being inconsistent and always having your goals fall through the cracks to being consistent and laser focused and getting things done, then this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to be consistent in your goals. Step number one is narrow your focus. Truthfully speaking, you're probably doing too much. There is a reason why successful people start out the year saying, this year I'm going to be focused on 3 big goals, and they stick to it. This is because they realize that spreading themselves thin will not only burn them out quickly, but it will prevent them from expending energy into where energy should actually be going, which is their big goals. So they dissipate their energy in doing little things that are not necessarily critical to the big picture of their lives. And that in fact hinders them from being able to do the big things that can be critical to the outcome of their lives. So you need to inspect and check if you're spreading yourself too thin, because if you are, there is a problem with that. And as you develop your consistency muscle, you can be able to incrementally add more to your plate. It's important that you start out small, do focus on 3 big things every year, or 2, or maybe 1. Start out small depending on how much muscles you've developed in the consistency area. But then as you progress and get more consistent and get better at being more consistent, you can add more to your plate. But it's important that you need to narrow your focus per time. That is a sure way to be consistent. If you woke up every day knowing that all you had to do was 1 thing or 2 things or 3 things for the rest of the year, it will declutter your life and help you stay focused. Step number 2, you are probably not setting the right systems. Listen, my friends, there are systems and then there are the right systems. The right systems are systems that are custom made for you depending on what your life looks like and the stage of life that you are. Setting the right systems helps you to curb, excesses and make sure that you're sticking to your goals. When I talk about setting systems, sometimes it sounds very complex and it sounds like one big thing, but certain systems can be as simple as setting an alarm clock, setting a reminder, having a daily tracker, having a daily to-do list. These are the things that will help you stay in check to ensure that you're meeting your goals for the day. So if you're struggling with inconsistency, consider setting the right systems. The problem is sometimes we're over dependent on our brain to remind us to do the things that we need to do. Sometimes we're over dependent on our willpower to motivate us and remind us and push us to do the things that we need to do. Whilst the brain and willpower play a role in the consistency factor, it is not enough. And that's okay. Thankfully, we live in a world where there is technology and there are lots of resources that can help us stay consistent, and that can help us stay accountable and help us continue to, push through in the direction of our goals. So think about setting the right systems. Step number 3, practice self-discipline. Note that the operative word is practice. No matter how much you pay a coach or how much you listen to YouTube videos, or no matter what you do and you're failing to take action, you will still not be consistent. At the end of the day, YouTube videos, resources, books can only give you the information that you need. Those things will never take the action for you. You still have the responsibility to take the action. But discipline, I've found, comes with practice. The more you practice, the more disciplined that you are. So start with being disciplined in the little things. Start with, taking responsibility, taking action for the little things. And as you do that, you will find that you have both the confidence and the motivation, most importantly, the capacity to do the big things and to be disciplined at the big things. So practice makes perfect. It's not cliche. It is true even today. Step number 4, your goals are probably out of your reach. Sometimes we're setting these audacious goals because we've heard something at a vision board party where they're encouraging you to set these mind-blowing goals because you can become whatever it is that you want to become. Whilst there's some truth to that, it may not be the complete truth, especially for you. In setting your goals, you need to take into account some things, part of which is where you are in life, what your bandwidth is right now, what you can handle, and what you have the capacity for. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Matter of fact, it's a level of self-awareness that empowers you to know exactly how to set your goals so that you don't keep dealing with the disappointment and the embarrassment of not meeting your goals year after year. I find that a lot of us borrow goals. So we go on social media or we listen to someone we really admire and they're telling us some of these audacious goals that they're setting, and then we lift, we copy, and we paste. We dump it into our very cluttered, mostly disorganized life, and we wonder why we're not seeing the outcomes that we can see in their own life. Here's the deal. Break it down for yourself. Set goals that are within your reach, almost like low-hanging fruits. Those are the best kinds of goals that set us up for consistency and, most importantly, success. When you take a look at the people who you admire, you would also see that those folks didn't start out nailing big goals. They probably started out with little goals, small goals here and there. And as they grew in capacity, then they became equipped and better suited to go for the bigger goals. So sometimes the reason why we're inconsistent is that we're trying to reach for something that is quite frankly out of our reach. Now, I'm not saying to never aim for things that are out of your reach. I'm just saying be mindful of where you start. Where you start is not where you will end, but where you start can impact whether or not you will get to where you want to end or where you will eventually end. So remember to set goals that are within your reach. Step number 5, keep some sort of daily tracker that helps you stay in check with your goals. I find that a lot of us are whimsical towards our goals. What that means is anything goes. We're too spontaneous to be able to achieve our goals. We wake up in the morning and we do whatever we feel like. Instead of living life spontaneously like that, even though that is good and there's a place for spontaneity in life, it doesn't necessarily help you gain consistency. So instead of living your life like that, why don't you have some sort of daily tracker? When you wake up in the morning, before you get on your social media feed, before you get distracted, before you start doing every other thing that is going to call for your attention, go through your to-do list. Refresh your mind on the things that should be your priority even before you start your day, so that once you hit your feet on the floor, you move with purpose in every step. You are targeted. You are achieving everything that you set out to achieve. When you don't have that sense of direction and clarity, you don't have that clear roadmap as to how your day should go, it's easier for you to start filling your day up with junk. You're going to wake up and then you feel like something should be done and then you do it. Meanwhile, those things, you might find that you end up filling your day with little sands that do not add up to the big goal that you're trying to achieve in your life. Tackle the bigger pebbles. Be focused. And part of how you can do that is by setting the system that helps you have a daily tracker so that you touch base with it even before you get into any other activity for the day. Step number 6, and I talk about this one so much that I probably almost sound like a broken record, but it's important to know your personality type. I'm sure you're wondering, what does personality type have to do with consistency? A lot. I have found from my research that some personality types are more prone to certain weaknesses, whilst others aren't. So, if you fall into the personality category that has, for instance, a short attention span, you hate routines, you get bored easily, you always want to have fun, outdoors, chitty chatty, you always want to be with people, you don't like tense, serious, intense environments, you probably are a sanguine. Not that there is anything wrong with it, but again, this is self-awareness. And what self-awareness does is it helps you know how best to support yourself. It helps you know how best to fill in the gaps in your areas of weaknesses. So I think in broad, there are about 4 major personality types according to Tim LaHaye's book, Why You Act the Way You Do. By the way, if you haven't read that book, go check it out. I read it for the first time as an undergraduate in the university, and that book changed my life. I believe that it will change your life too. But Tim LaHaye talks about 4 major personality types: sanguine, choleric, melancholic, phlegmatic. The sanguines are more of the people persons. They love people, they love to be out there, they're chitty chatty, they love parties, they're extroverted in nature. And by reason of that, they have very short attention span. They get bored easily. So what that means is they can have this very bright and brilliant idea that they're passionate about and want to step out on. But after a few months, they're bored. They're looking for the next big thing. If you find that you fall into that kind of personality bracket, what you now need to do is help support that weakness, create an accountability system. Maybe have a co-founder or a friend who is more introverted, more choleric or more melancholy, more disciplined, more organized, more in love with routines. That person can become a sounding board for you when you're going off track. That person can be the voice that says, hey, get back on track, we still have a lot to do, and this and that. This is the reason why it's important to know your personality type, because you can be getting frustrated with yourself for always having this tendency of procrastinating or getting bored and dumping projects halfway or dumping things halfway and not even know why. The moment you realize what this personality type is about, by the way, even if you can't read the book, go on Google and just do a quick search of these 4 personality types that I mentioned earlier and read up what Google has to say. Now, arming yourself with that knowledge will best help you know how to support yourself. Sometimes you just shouldn't be trying to be consistent all by yourself. Sometimes you need to have an accountability partner or a coach or whatever, depending again on how important the goal that you're trying to work towards is to you. So it's important to know your personality type. You must have heard the saying that personality is both nature and nurture. The reason why I'm bringing that in is there is a part of you that is how you naturally are. There is another part of you that is the work that you put in to become a certain kind of person. So even if you find that by nature you are less prone to consistency and routines and being organized, that is your nature. Then what will be your nurture? What efforts would you put in to become a certain kind of person? How are you going to invest in yourself and leverage systems and support and accountability to ensure that you become a certain kind of person? Now, even though I encourage you knowing your personality type and working out of that knowledge to know what is best suited for you and what is not best suited for you, what you don't want to do is use your personality type as an excuse, because that is not acceptable. Have self-awareness, leverage what you find to best support yourself, but don't make excuses for yourself. Okay? All right, the last step is give yourself grace. If you fail, you can't start again. If you don't get it right the first time, you probably will get it right the second time or the third time or the fourth time. Keep trying and don't give up. It's not easy, especially building muscles in this area, i.e. consistency or self-mastery, can usually come with a lot of time and practice, and that's also okay. Keep going, keep giving yourself grace, keep being patient with yourself, and keep doing what it takes. What I never want you to do is quit. Do not quit. When you quit, you've accepted failure, you've accepted permanent loss. But when you keep showing up and keep putting in the efforts and keep doing what it takes, slowly but steadily and surely, one day you will become a consistency guru. I hope you found this video helpful. This is where we're gonna, stop for the day. If you did find this video helpful, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, go ahead and share with me in the comment section. Which of these steps stood out for you the most? Which one are you going to start practicing immediately? Which one have you been practicing and which one is completely new to you? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, do you know anyone who's struggling with consistency issues? It will be a good time to share this video with them. Make sure you subscribe, and until next time, take care. Bye-bye.